Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Football Podcast. Once again, this is your new episode 12, and now we have got Austin Baldwin again. How I've been today, Austin?
I've been great, and I'm really happy that I'm on the pod again.
Yeah, once again, That Football Podcast, your weekly dose of everything football. Now, PSG, most dominant side in Europe for 2024 to 2025 season. Now, Austin, what are your opinions on last season's PSG?
Well, last season's PSG, we obviously knew that the first half of the season was quite poor, but the way they bounced back in January onwards, with players like Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, obviously, we're going to talk about him in a minute, Ballon d'Or winner, Vitinha, what a team. They were so dominant January onwards. They locked in. They were a brilliant side under Luis Enrique, and they completely deserved the treble from that performance from January onwards.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely ridiculous that they just turned the whole season around, winning 4 trophies: the UCL, the Copa France, the Trofeo de Champions, and also Ligue 1. That's absolutely crazy. Crazy turnaround of events.
Yeah, crazy. And they were Club World Cup runner-ups as well. But the fact they went that far, nearly winning a 5th trophy after a shocking first half of the season, it's just so good how they bounce back. It just shows how great of a mentality the squad have.
Now, I want to ask you a question before we dive into obviously the Ballon d'Or ceremony and like all these individual awards. Quick question, what's your opinion? Do you think last season's PSG team, do you think they're good, or maybe if not better than Man City's treble winning team a few seasons ago?
No.
Why? Why is that?
Because hear me out. If City and PSG played against each other, City would win because it's just a better team, man. It's a better team, better football. The way they dictated and controlled games, the way they were so solid at the back, and also from what I've seen from both City teams, City and PSG, I think PSG have more weaknesses than a team like City, because with that City team, they barely conceded a goal. With PSG, they were leaking chances to oppositions because, let's be real, Donnarumma did save them loads and loads of times. And also against teams like Villa, they conceded a lot of goals. They do have shaky bits defensively, and they do make some mistakes here and there, but they get bailed out by the keeper. So with City, barely of that stuff happened. They barely gave oppositions a kick in front of goal.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. You bring up a good point, but we'll leave it down in the comments and we'll set a poll for you guys in the audience and think which one's better. And now, so moving on to the Ballon d'Or ceremony, and obviously, as you mentioned, Ousmane Dembele, Ballon d'Or winner. Your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's an absolute robbery. I'm joking. It's not a robbery. It's actually completely fair. Completely fair. Absolutely deserved it. The season he had was just incredible, playing in a new position at striker. People were saying when he was a wonder kid at Dortmund, went to Barca. Everyone was saying he's washed at Barca, never be the same again. Went to PSG, and everyone was like, oh well. But this season, holy shit, he was incredible, absolutely incredible, and he 100% deserved the Ballon d'Or. Lamine Yamal is a very, very close second, but Dembele, with the trophies that he won, it was just a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. I 100% was going for Dembele to win. Also for the fact I didn't want Yamal to win at all. Don't like the guy. Mate, he's 17 years old. He can't be winning the Ballon d'Or. The game will be so gone. Like, it'll be over. It'll be freaking over. So, can't let him win it.
Didn't Messi win a Ballon d'Or at 18 or 19?
No.
Or did he win it later?
Not that young. Maybe like 19, 20, but not that young. This kid would have been the youngest ever, and it would have just gone crazy. Plus, I reckon Paris would have freaking rioted, let's be real, if Dembele didn't win.
Yeah, of course they would have. After the season that Dembele had, I mean, why wouldn't he win Ballon d'Or?
Yeah, so obviously we're going to go through the stats. So Dembele, he basically won by a clean slate. I'm looking at it now. It just got released by Fabrizio Romano. Dembele, 1,380 points. Yamal in second, 1,059 points. And we're going to go down the list from first all the way to 10th, and we'll ask you for your opinion afterwards. So obviously, third place, Vitinha, 703 points. Salah, 657. Rafinha, 620. Hakimi, 484. Mbappe, 378. Cole Palmer, 211. Donnarumma, 172. And Nuno Mendes, 171. Now, what are your opinions on that top 10?
Nuno Mendes was 10th, right?
Yes, correct.
And Hakimi was 6th.
Yes, correct.
I really, really rate Hakimi, but I think Nuno Mendes was the better PSG fullback.
I'm going to agree.
Had a better season. He was the better PSG fullback, I thought. He won the Nations League with Portugal. His work rate is insane. He locked up every single world-class right winger. He locked up Saka. He locked up Salah. He locked up Lamine Yamal, who finished second in the Ballon d'Or. He locked up every single great right winger, won the Nations League, but that's not the biggest robbery there. Rafinha in 5th. Are you taking the piss?
This is an absolute joke. Put that way.
Rafinha should be 3rd. Vitinha should be 5th.
No, hold on. Just wait 1 second. He should be higher than Yamal. Let's be real. It's all just glaze. All these journalists with Yamal coming second. It's all just glaze. Rafinha literally had the better season. He had better stats.
Rafinha second or third for Rafinha, not 5th. Not 5th. Apparently not a single vote. Apparently he didn't even get a single first place vote.
Exactly. I'm looking at it right there.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
It's an absolute joke. It's all just glaze, and it's all just favoritism. Like Yamal, obviously, him and Rafinha. Don't forget, Rafinha came from freaking Leeds. How do you go from Leeds firstly to Barcelona? Anyway, it comes out, obviously, they both play absolute brilliant football. So you can't really judge them on the football because they're both absolutely brilliant. Then you have to go by stats. Rafinha had better stats.
Rafinha's insane, man. I don't know how he was 5th. That is absolutely shocking. Scott McTominay got a first place vote, and Rafinha didn't.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
And also, I don't think Cole Palmer should be in the top 10.
Really?
Because, yes, he won the Club World Cup. His first half of last season was really good. But his second half of the season was shocking before the Club World Cup. He had a terrible second half of the season. Maybe sneaking in the top 10, yeah, that's fair. But Nuno Mendes should be well above him. And who finished 9th? Who finished 9th behind Palmer?
Donnarumma.
Even he should be higher than Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer should be 10th on the dot, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I think there was a stat. He went 16 matches without a goal.
Yeah, exactly. He's before the Club World Cup. Second half of the season was terrible from Cole Palmer. Absolutely terrible.
I mean, this literally just shows the Ballon d'Or is gone. It's just favoritism at this point.
Oh, and the fact that Vitinha was 3rd and Rafinha was 5th. I don't get that. But also, Vitinha finishing 3rd in the Ballon d'Or, and he didn't manage to get a game for Wolves.
This is crazy. How do you go from, barely getting a game in Wolves, in the Prem, to going all the way to PSG and bowling out? It just shows the level difference between the Prem and obviously, Ligue 1.
Yeah, but, and the fact that Wolves are bottom of the Prem now, and they're seeing Rafinha and all these lot flying and shit. It's just cooked. I mean, these Ballon d'Or rankings are kind of cooked. I can't lie. Rafinha in when I saw other reactions from other content creators, other streamers when they saw Rafinha was 5th. They were absolutely their head was just so confused. They were just mind blown. Their reactions were ridiculous. They saw Rafinha 5th and everyone was like, what? What the fuck? They were like, how? Just how? How is he fit? That is so low.
It's so rigged. It's so rigged these days. They keep changing the rules. They keep changing everything every single year. How do you expect for some consistency and some non-bias?
I remember when the Ballon d'Or was like based off like the whole year, not the season.
Yeah, but they also changed the rules with voting because before club captains could vote, and like obviously, I looked at one from a few years ago when club captains. Sorry, I think club captains or nations captain. I'm not sure, but Sergio Ramos, he like voted Ronaldo, Bale, and Modric because Real Madrid teammates back in. So that's why they changed it because obviously it can be biased. But this is just even worse.
Mm. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Moving on. Anyway, other obviously individual awards at the Ballon d'Or ceremony. Victor Gyökeres with the Gerd Muller Trophy. Your opinion?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Even though it's the Portuguese league, it's not normal to be scoring that amount of goals in a season. Like, come on, it's just not normal. I mean, I know he's picked up some goals in the Prem, but I feel like he's gone to a very tough start to the Premier League. A bit like he's like underperforming the expectations that was given to him. But we'll see if he can click on later. But I think the Gerd Muller Award is good for him because, I know it's the Portuguese league and it's not the greatest league out there, but it's just a ridiculous amount of goals. Like, it's not normal to score that many goals, let's be real.
Yeah, the trophy is for the best striker of the year, and in my opinion, he was the best striker of the year. Maybe second coming in like Harry Kane, because Harry Kane, he's putting up beast numbers. We'll get on to him later, but that's fair. Going on, obviously the Yashin Trophy, Golden Glove, Donnarumma, fair.
Oh, fair. Absolutely fair. The amount of times he bailed out PSG in their Champions League one was absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just he's a reincarnation of Buffon. And that save that he did in the Manchester derby as well. And as soon as he came into Man City, that defence looked so much more comfortable. Genuinely, like such an incredible goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's literally a beast. How do you stop this guy? He just does the most unsavable thing. It's ridiculous. It's a joke.
And from penalties as well. Like, you saw it at the Euros. You saw it against Liverpool. He's a joke. Joke.
Yeah, he's a joke. Lamine Yamal did end up getting awarded the Golden Boy, the best young talent. Desiree Doué coming second.
Yeah, Yamal spot on, I reckon. I mean, the things that he's doing at 18 is just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and like 2 in a row as well. This guy will win a Ballon d'Or in another year or two if he keeps going like this. He will for sure. He's an incredible, incredible player, and he's arguably the best in the world.
Definitely a bit of debate up there. Best manager, Luis Enrique. Any questions?
Luis Enrique, I mean, won the treble, brought that PSG team from zero to heroes from January onwards, nearly won a Club World Cup. I mean, come on. It just had to be Luis Enrique.
Yep, fair team. And also, the Ballon d'Or ceremony also put the best team in Europe, PSG. Come on, no complaints there.
Yeah, if PSG are the best team in Europe, obviously Enrique is going to win best manager. Obviously, Dembele is going to win Ballon d'Or. It's just how it works.
Yep, just how it is. Also, Vinny, 16th place. Stinker.
Yeah, he didn't have a good season at all last season. Not like he did pop up with some goals, but it wasn't a season that's good for Vinny. Let's be real.
Also, one of the surprise here, Erling Haaland 26th, with Gyökeres coming 15th.
Maybe. I mean, I think that's a bit harsh on Haaland because he still scored a lot of goals last season, considering how underperformed City were. Didn't win a trophy. I understand. I know it's not good enough for City, but Haaland in a bad season, he still got about 21 Premier League goals. He got second in the Golden Boot as his bad season. That's a bad season for him.
I know, but also, no, you're right. But also, I think I saw a stat. He got more goals in games even last season.
Yes, exactly. And that's a bad season for him because it's the expectation that is put upon City every single year. City are expected to win Premier League, trophy. It's just what City do. They win trophies every season. But since City's expectations, since they really underperformed, their expectations are always here. City were like over here last season. They were far from it. They could have won that FA Cup to make their season a bit better. But it's hard on Haaland because it's the whole underperforming of City is overshadowing the individual brilliance of Erling Haaland.
Yeah, agree. No complaints there. You've all said it. All right, moving on. Manchester United back in the newspaper once again. Ruben Amorim now lost to this day 15 out of his first 28 Premier League matches. He's also reached 15 defeats faster than any other manager, excluding those in charge of newly promoted teams. And also, no manager for Manchester United since 2010 has taken fewer games to hit 15 Premier League losses.
That is a absolutely hane of a record from Amorim. That is a shocking record. And I've got another stat here as well. Sunderland, ever since going in the Premier League this season, Sunderland have accumulated 11 points. Man United, since April in the Premier League, have accumulated 12 points. That's one more point than this season's Sunderland. And United are versing Sunderland this weekend.
All the alarm bells just ring for Manchester United. Defence is poor, the attack is poor, the midfield's poor, the coach is poor. What are they doing? What honestly are they doing? Is there going to be change at the club?
The club is in an absolute mess right now. It starts from the ownership. Ownership is shocking. Shocking ownership. The manager, I think Amorim is not like a terrible manager. I think he's a good coach, but I just think his system just doesn't work with the United squad. The United squad are too incompetent for that system. So Amorim needs to stop. If he's going to stay in charge, he needs to stop being stubborn and change that system right now to a 4 at the back, like a 4-2-3-1, because that is what United actually are okay with. Change the system. The 5 back, it will probably work against a Chelsea or an Arsenal or a Tottenham, stuff like that. The 5 back would probably work against those big teams. But you can't be playing 5 back against Burnley, Brentford, Palace, Fulham, and stuff like that. Like, it just won't work. So the system has to change, but he's too stubborn. Way too stubborn. Third of all, so many dead wood in the squad. And so many incompetent players that are just not good enough for the Premier League, that are just not good enough for Manchester United. They should sign players that would suit a system or that would do well for Man United. Good players. Just bring in some good, competent players and sell all the deadwood. And also, Amorim will probably get sacked because apparently Radcliffe is having contacts with another manager as we speak.
Yeah. Potter's actually the favourite.
Really?
Yep. I saw it the other day. Potter's the favourite.
I heard it was Gareth Southgate.
Southgate?
Yeah, Gareth Southgate.
Oh, wow.
Apparently Radcliffe is in talks with Gareth Southgate.
I saw a thing as a favourite, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that obviously they're looking to ship Amorim off. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. Also, this stat is going to mind blow you because everyone thinks, obviously, Ten Hag's the worst manager. No, listen to this stat. So
I think they should have kept Ten Hag. Ten Hag actually did well. He made United finish third actually. He brought him to third and won a Carabao Cup. Yes, he had a bad season after, and he had a bad start the last season. But I felt like United were better under Ten Hag. They won a trophy and finished top 4.
It's very controversial, but when you put it that way, I think I would rather be winning trophies and finishing bottom than finishing like mid-table, like 8th, and not win any trophies.
Even their second season, under Ten Hag, yes, they finished 8th, which is which was not good at all for Man United, they still won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
They still won the FA Cup. And
All
last
right.
season United were 16th or 15th. 16th, 16th. And got nothing.
Terrible. Like, when you listen to this stat, these are the Manchester United managers since Sir Alex Ferguson. How many games it took them to 15 losses? All right, just hear it out. Ten Hag, these are all to 15 losses after 53 games. Ollie, 65 games.
Okay.
Jose, 87 games. Louis Van Gaal, 66 games. Sir Alex Ferguson, 113 games. And also, after the draw against Fulham, 29 games, 28 points for Amorim. The worst out of the lot.
Bad. That is
They're
really, really bad.
They're literally getting bantered online. Like, things that are coming out. I saw this post, right? It literally said, Manchester United, after 4 games into the season, title's gone. Well, let's be real. They're not probably going to win the title. They're so far down. They're doing
I
so
think
bad.
at the start of the season, I think United fans were hoping for a top 6 finish.
All right, but anyway, just because of how bad they've done, after 4 games, title gone. Out of the EFL Cup to Grimsby. No European football. Cunha 003. Sesko 004. Negative goal difference. The top goal scorers own goals. And the only reason they're in the FA Cup is because it hasn't started yet.
They're so cooked. They're so cooked. They're so cooked. Like, where do they go from here? Where do they go from here? It's shocking.
The thing is, though, there's no positive points from when you're watching Manchester United. There's no positives.
Like, they look like they don't even know each other. They don't know what they're doing. They're the most again, I watched that full game against Brentford. They are the most did you watch that game?
No, I was playing football.
Oh my God, if you actually watch the game, United are actually the most incompetent team ever. They are so incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing.
Share your thoughts on the game.
It was terrible. They could barely do a 2-yard pass. Like, Sesko's final delivery was shocking. Yes, he got a goal, but his final product was pass is shit. United, defensively, they're shocking. Their line doesn't work. Their high line is shocking. For the first goal, Igor Thiago just ran freely through on goal and slapped it past Bayinda. Even against Man City 2 weeks before, Harry Maguire was the last man at the halfway line.
You can't do that.
Of course he's going to get bummed by Haaland in a foot race. What do you expect is going to happen when Maguire is the last man on the halfway line when Haaland is right next to him? And even against Brentford, like I said, they could barely do a pass. Going forward, they just didn't know what they were doing. Defensively shocking, losing battles in midfield. They were the the only players that actually did okay was probably Cunha and Dorgu. Apart from that, the team is so incompetent. I hate Man United, but it was painful for me to watch that shit that they put on the pitch. It was shocking. If I was coaching a team and my team was being incompetent like that, I would lose my fucking head. Sorry for the language. I would lose my head. Genuinely.
Like, what do they do? What is Amorim doing? Why is he putting Maguire as the last man? He's getting desperate. And let's just think logically. Maguire, what's he going to do being last man? You can't do that.
Also, I think Amorim's just trying to sack himself at this point. I think he's even in the press conference after the City game, oh my God, he was like, one of the reporters was like, "Would you have to change the system? You reckon it's that?" And Amorim was like, "Look, it's not the system. The system will adapt." Blah blah blah. And he was like, "I'm not going to change. For the system to change, you have to change the man." He's so stubborn. He's so stubborn. And by saying that shit, I think he's trying to sack himself. You know, for the system to change, you have to change the man. He's basically saying change manager.
What's he on about? Honestly?
No, he's trying to sack himself. And when I saw that third goal, I saw Maguire as the last man, and I was like, what the? I was like, what? Like, of course he's gonna get destroyed by Haaland in a foot race, and that's what happened. Maguire tried to catch up, but he just couldn't. It was like Robbie running up that hill. AFTV Robbie running up that hill. It was shocking.
Let's go, Robbie. Let's go, sprint. Let's go, Robbie. Let's go. Go on, Robbie. Go on, Robbie. Well done, Robbie. Yes.
Manchester United sit bottom, 17th of a table containing all the Premier League teams since Ruben Amorim took charge. No. Since Amorim took charge in November 2024. Only the 3 relegated sides collected less points than him all the way from November 2024 until now. They're bottom. They've collected less points out of any other team in the Premier League.
Ooh. That's shocking. That's absolutely shocking.
Considering a club that is known to be amongst the big 6, it's a real embarrassment and a real shame for the entire club and its fan base.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. United are in a shocking state right now. It's just, it's tough being a United fan right now. It really, really is.
And this stat I'm about to read out just highlights that it's not just defense midfield, it's also the attack, because last 4 seasons, the goal difference, comparison of Manchester City and Manchester United, right? Manchester City have a goal difference accumulated over the last 4 seasons of plus 224, while Manchester United have plus 4.
It's terrible. It's actually terrible. Like what W2S said, they're in the mud.
They're struggling at both ends. Let's be real. They're struggling at both ends of the field.
Yeah. Oh, that midfield. Oh, my God. Ugarte, Casemiro.
It's not only that. It's the goalkeeping situation as well.
Yeah, everything. From the goalkeeper to the striker. From the goalkeeper to the ownership. The whole club is done. Cancel Man United. Cancel the club. They are in a shocking state right now.
Just sell the whole club, rebuild, and just start up, because it's an absolute disgrace and it's a joke.
The United are becoming a mid-table team. Manchester United are a mid-table team.
That's the new norm, I guess, nowadays. It's bad to see.
And also, I kind of feel their pain as well, like as a Milan fan as well. Milan were so successful and stuff, but I had to live through the banter era, finishing 10th, 8th. To be fair, we never finished 16th. We never finished 16th though, but the fact that we were finishing mid-table constantly. But then eventually we worked our way back up and we won the league in 2022. So maybe United can, do what Milan did, going through those banterous years, finishing mid-table, and then eventually climbing their way back up the table. Maybe United could do that in a few years' time, but at this current rate, we don't know.
We definitely don't know. So, obviously now, moving on to the UCL results from the first game week. Now, we start off with PSV Eindhoven and Union Saint-Gilloise. And it was obviously debut for Union as they win 3-1. What are your opinions? Did you see that game or?
Oh, I didn't see the game, but when I saw the result, it was quite a surprise. Union Saint-Gilloise are the debutants of the UEFA Champions League. You expect that That's a very decent PSV team as well, a very strong side. And Union Saint-Gilloise were just not phased at all, and they got a huge win to put their name out there in the UEFA Champions League.
Yep. Perfect result for them in their debut season in the Champions League. And next fixture, Athletic Bilbao versus Arsenal, 2-0 to the Arsenal. Martinelli and Trossard goal. Now, Martinelli's on a roll, isn't he? Comes in,
He is.
I think it was on 34, 35 seconds, comes off the bench, goal. Sets the tone.
Yeah. I mean, absolute super sub, Gary Martinelli. He did it against City as well. Came off the bench, made an impact. Arsenal were desperately searching for that goal all game. They just couldn't find it, struggling to find that goal. Bilbao defended decently, but then, that Martinelli goal off the bench just made Bilbao drop their heads. Arsenal did get that second goal from Trossard even later on. And, 2 late goals, 3 points for Arsenal. They got to do what they got to do.
Perfect. Easy 3 points. On to the next game, just like you said. Moving on, Juventus and Dortmund, 4-4, a thriller. 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. 3 goals in the last 10 minutes.
What a game. Juventus didn't play very good for most of that game, but then they eventually locked in the last few minutes to try and salvage a result. They got a point, which is better than none. Dortmund must be kicking themselves for bottling that 4-2 lead. They must be absolutely kicking themselves. But Juventus just come back and, they just drew another game. They draw so many games now, Juventus, but, it's better than losing at the end of the day.
Yep. That's how it is. Benfica and Qarabag, I think that's how you say it. 3-2 Qarabag on their debut season in the UCL as well.
In Lisbon. I swear Qarabag were in the Champions League in a few seasons ago, 2017, 2018.
No, apparently this is their debut season. I have to recheck. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's odd, because I remember they played against Chelsea and Barcelona in 2017, 2018 in a group stage. It might have been Qarabag, but anywho. But Qarabag, really surprising from them. Like, you wouldn't expect them to go against, arguably the toughest team in Portugal and whip out a result like that in Lisbon as a team from Azerbaijan. They did. That is the surprise of the week, in my opinion, going away against Benfica and getting a huge, huge win.
What an absolute result. And the team will be so thrilled for that as well. It puts them in a good place into the next round, the next game of the Champions League. Everyone's saying, oh, no, these guys might be underdogs, but, got to be wary of these guys.
Yeah, got to be wary of them. They're one of those teams that, you'll have that mentality going into a game that, yes, we're going to beat them, nice, but during a game, they're going to give you a run for your money. So do not underestimate them.
Tottenham 1 and Villarreal 0. Now, I'm looking at this. Didn't watch the game, but looks pretty boring game.
Yep.
Get this.
Tottenham
19 shots.
19 shots for who? Tottenham.
No. Get this, yeah. 19 shots the entire match and 1 on target.
And I think, and was the goal an own goal? It was a quite jammy goal for Spurs. Yeah, I saw the goal in the highlights. It was such a jammy goal. And just what I've heard, it was such a boring game of football. Like, it could have easily been 0-0 if it wasn't for that jammy goal. So Tottenham, did get a bit lucky about that win. But they defended beautifully. I heard they've defended really well all season, actually, under Thomas Frank. So maybe Tottenham can get more wins on the board.
And that goal, that own goal, as we should say, came in like the first 10 minutes. So it was just boring for the rest of the match.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, it should have been 0-0. That game.
Be real.
Yeah, it was a terrible game, apparently. Terrible game of football.
Real Madrid, 2-1 over Marseille. Mbappe with the double. 2 pens.
2 penalties for Real Madrid. We haven't heard this. We've heard this story before. But yeah, Mbappe is absolutely on fire. Marseille did play very well. They gave Real Madrid a run for their money, but Real Madrid just had to get lucky like they always do at the end of the day. Got 2 penalties. I mean, it's just Real Madrid.
And Timothy Weah, goal for Marseille. I actually didn't know he moved from, was it Juventus before?
Juventus, yeah, to Marseille. Yeah, he did move to Marseille. Marseille actually have a decent team, Yeah, they got Mason Greenwood. They got, like you said, Timothy Weah. They got other decent players as well. Aubameyang is there too. They got a decent team, and no wonder why they gave Real Madrid a run for their money.
Yeah, it's lovely to see. Lucky Madrid again. Yep. Bayern Munich against Chelsea, 3-1. Harry Kane double.
Oh, Harry Kane. Harry Kane's been on absolute fire this season. Him, Haaland and Mbappe have been absolutely crazy, but Kane has just been ridiculous, and Bayern are still unbeaten in all competitions this season so far. And it's just absolutely ridiculous, and especially the work that Harry Kane's doing. He's a goal scorer. He's a playmaker. He literally plays as a 9 and a 10 and an 8 at the same time. It's ridiculous.
Do you know what's crazy stat that I saw? But this is only in the Bundesliga though. 15 pens, 15 goals for Harry Kane in the Bundesliga.
He's just too clinical.
Clinical from the spot.
Clinical from the spot, and clinical in general. Like the way he can strike a football, especially his low-driven shots, the way he can strike a shot is just unstoppable, and he's probably the best striker in the world.
Definitely, I reckon, probably the best number 9 in the world. Maybe, obviously, Haaland's up there, but Harry Kane's different level.
The overall package, as an overall player, you take Kane over Haaland all day. Yeah. Kane's playmaking, his IQ, he's selfless. He's just such a brilliant player in general. He can do everything.
Yeah. Chalobah own goal as well.
Yeah, I did watch the Bayern Chelsea game as well. It was kind of tough for Chelsea. Even Sanchez had a good game. Sanchez was making some good saves, but then for the third goal, happened, which was a mistake at the back from Chelsea. Sanchez was really angry about that, but Chelsea did look to find a way back into the game after bringing it back to 2-1 with Cole Palmer. That was a brilliant counter-attacking goal as well from Chelsea. A very, very nice counter-attack. But then Chelsea was searching for another goal all game. Sanchez was keeping him in it, but then obviously that mistake at the back just made it 3-1. That was 3 points for Bayern.
And Cole Palmer with the only goal for Chelsea.
Yep, Cole Palmer. He started the counter-attack and he ended it. It was a brilliant, brilliant counter-attack from Chelsea. It really was.
Yep. Despite his injuries, at least Cole Palmer did get on the score sheet this season.
Of course he is. Of course he did. It's Cole Palmer.
PSV 4-0 over Atlanta. Marquinhos, Mendes, Ramos, and Kvaratskhelia.
Well, PSG is just the strongest team in Europe right now. They really are. Nuno Mendes, probably the best left back in the world. PSG, obviously that Atalanta team is not too great this season compared to previous seasons. So, PSG are going to smash them all day. And Gonçalo Ramos getting a goal with his 99 finishing as per usual. And, it's a very good finish from the Portuguese man. And, good win for PSG.
Yeah, good win from PSG, as obviously their Champions League title defense is off to a great start with that 4-0 win, and it puts them at a very good level going into the next game. Yep. Next game, Ajax versus Inter, 2-0 Inter. Now, Turan double, but obviously less possession for Inter. It just shows the Italian, mentality of score defense.
Yeah, Inter they got their 2 goals. Thuram is an absolute unit of a strike, by the way. I really rate Marcus Thuram. I think he's a very good player. And then, Inter defended beautifully, like always, with their 5-back system, with DiMarco, Dumfries, Bastoni, and Akanji and Acerbi. Such a strong centre-back trio. Bastoni, by the way, what a player. Probably the second best centre-back in the world, in my opinion. I think he's better than Saliba and Gabriel. I think he's really, really good.
No, come on.
I think he's absolutely sensational. Okay, maybe not better than Gabriel. Maybe he's third. Maybe Gabriel's better than Bastoni. But Bastoni is an exceptional player. Exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. Like, oh my God. Like, he's so strong in the duel. He's amazing on the ball, ridiculous on the ball. His long balls are insane. His in-swinging crosses from deep when he moves up the pitch is ridiculous. Him in the air, so dominant in the air. I mean, just such a brilliant player. But, okay, maybe Gabriel is better than Bastoni, but Bastoni is a top 3 centre-back in the world, in my opinion.
Well, I don't watch Italian football, so I'm just going to have to take your word for that.
Yeah.
Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid. Thriller. VVD in the last minute.
Liverpool, again, with their last-minute goals. Again, with their late goals, make it 3-2. But also, Marcus Llorente, when he plays against Liverpool at Anfield. What does that guy eat for breakfast when he plays at Anfield? Seriously, every time he goes there, he scores. He is Liverpool's worst nightmare in the Champions League, Marcus Llorente. Atletico Madrid probably should have got something from that game, but of course, Liverpool just had to get a last-minute goal.
Llorente with a double, but obviously not enough. Robertson, who was actually rumoured supposed to go to Atletico Madrid during the transfer window.
Robertson?
Yeah, Andy Robertson. Remember, there was like all this speculation he was supposed to go to Atletico Madrid. Remember, I thought we talked about it.
Oh, I don't know.
No. He was rumoured, but he actually said in an interview he came very close to signing, but I think it didn't work out with personal reasons. But he scored against them, and then Salah, and obviously in the last minute, Virgil van Dijk. So there you are, Liverpool again.
Yeah, but good game though. Good game of football. 5-goal thriller. Can't be disappointed with a game like that.
Very nice indeed. Copenhagen versus Bayern Leverkusen, 2-2. Grimaldo, 2 world-class free kicks.
2-2. Bayer Leverkusen, they're not the team that they used to be. They lost so many of their key players, and they're relying on free kick goals from their left back now. Against a team like Copenhagen, Leverkusen's squad compared to theirs, Leverkusen still needs to win to get the 3 points that game. It's simply not good enough. That just shows how much their team has declined in the past year.
And it's just shown also by the performance in the Bundesliga. Right now, they're 6th in Bundesliga. What happened?
Yeah, so many key players being lost their manager. You just know they were going to go a bit of a decline.
Yep, just how it is. Newcastle versus Barcelona. 2-1 Barca. Rashford double. Apparently,
even Rashford didn't even play that good for the whole game, apart from those 2 goals. But I don't remember if it was the first goal or the second goal. He scored an absolute weldy.
I think it was the second. It was crazy.
An absolute bullet of a goal. Like, that is the type of goal that Rashford scored. He did it against Man City about a year and a half ago. He always scores that type of goal. Absolutely rifles it in the back of the net.
We watched that game, mate. I was at your house.
Yeah, I know.
That's when Haaland missed that tap in at the back post.
Hey, we still won that game. So.
Yeah, you did. But Rashford, obviously, with that double, gets UCL's Player of the Week.
Yep, UCL's Player of the Week. 2 goals. And they were 2 important goals as well. Going to St. James's Park is not an easy task. Newcastle away is always, Newcastle always a tricky customer, especially at St. James's Park. So, Barcelona just did what they had to do, and they got a huge win considering of the circumstance they were in.
just as you pointed out, obviously not easy to go to St. James's Park, but I was looking at the stats. 65% possession to Barca. That's very weird, especially going to St. James's Park.
65% possession to Barca.
Yeah.
I mean, Barca usually keep the ball a lot, so that's not too surprising. But Newcastle were always going to bring... They were always going to have less possession in the day because they're going to bring that aggression and that huge press to, like, win the ball, go on the counter, attack him in the counter. And, Newcastle, and like I said, St. James's Park is not an easy place to go to. You saw PSG got battered there 2 years ago. It's never an easy place. And Barcelona, thankfully for them, got the job done.
Yeah, and not to mention Anthony Gordon's consolation goal in the 90th minute as well. Put it 2-1 in the game. And final fixture, Manchester City versus Napoli, 2-0 Man City on Kevin De Bruyne's return to the Etihad. Your thoughts?
Well, it was unlucky that he got subbed off pretty early because Di Lorenzo got that red card and Napoli had to play very defensive and they subbed off De Bruyne for a defender, I think. But, City doing what they do, found a way to break them down. Haaland with a good performance. Foden was good. Doku is on another level this season. Jeremy Doku, goal and an assist for Jeremy Doku. His goal where he was so techy, dribbled past 2 or 3 players, slotted it in, beautiful. Donnarumma with another clean sheet. Ever since Donnarumma has gone to that defence, City's defence has looked a lot better. And, with someone like him in goal, you expect that to happen. Just brilliant performance all over the pitch. 2 goals, clean sheet, 3 points.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Doku, that goal that he scored, absolutely lovely. Change of pace, left foot, bottom right, lovely all round.
He's just on a different level. He's just on a different level this season, Jeremy Doku. He's on absolute fire this season. He did have some decent performances for his past 2 seasons, but this season he's been consistent, and that's the one thing that he's struggled with. And his end product has improved. Like people were saying, when Doku's end product improves, the league is in trouble, and he's stepped it up a level, and hopefully he keeps going. And could this be the return of Manchester City, the real Manchester City? What do you think?
Could be up there. You guys might be a little bit behind the 8 ball with the Prem, but we know it's Man City. You guys can catch up. But also, as you mentioned, Donnarumma coming into that City squad. The problem for the last few seasons has definitely been your defense. Shaky at times.
Yeah.
It looks very solid, your defense now. With
the defense looks very good now, yes. Kuzanov at right back, brilliant. He should start at right back every single game now. Unfortunately, he's got injured, but someone like Mateus Nunes will probably play there. And then left back, O'Reilly, playing over Ait-Nouri, who's injured. O'Reilly's been super consistent. He's been getting 7 out of 10s every game, ever since he's played left back. Donnarumma in goal, communicating with that defence, making that defence stronger. The defence feels a lot safer with him behind them. And then Gvardiol and Diaz, we've finally found our best centre-back duo. Gvardiol's the left-sided centre-half. Diaz is the right-sided centre-half. And they've both been superb.
Yep, good all-round performance, Man City. City domination in, as usual, 23 shots to 1.
Yeah, because Napoli parked the bus the whole game. Di Lorenzo got the red card, subbed on someone defensive. They wanted to get a 0-0 draw or something, or maybe try and salvage a 1-0 win, but Napoli couldn't get a kick that game.
And it's very tough, as you know, going to the Etihad and getting a result.
Yeah.
So, I think that's it for this week's edition of That Football Podcast. Obviously, thanks for joining us once again. We hope to see you guys next week.
Yep. Thank you for having me on here again. I really appreciate it, and I hope I can be on here soon.
All right, then. See you later.